We gonna hustle till the sun come up. Crack a 40 when the sun go down. It's a cold winter. It's like his voice is like very, very, very like high, but like not at the same time. It's a weird. Freeway has like a very peculiar sound.
That's where I was going to take it the other week. The other episode, however you want to refer to the past, that there used to be like a distinction in rappers' voices, and that's what made certain rappers special because their voice was unique or whatever. And the problem with today's music, with that little auto-tune touch they put on it, everybody sound the fucking same.
True.
That's my issue.
Have you ever heard somebody's voice and been like, man, that guy's got a cool voice. I'd like to have a voice like that.
I've never thought I wanted somebody else's voice, but I did think that people had some cool voices.
Is everybody
It's kind of weird.
Does everybody cringe at their voice?
I told you this, and you said, "No, I don't think that's true." You said you think
I know,
people
but
like that. You have to remember what the things that you say.
I know, but we talk about it a lot. So you're saying that people, if we're talking about the fact that there are people who may actually like their voice, because I'm assuming there are some people that you hear, you're like, oh, look at that bass-filled voice I have there. Like it must sound like some people must be really happy their voice sounds like.
I'm sure there are some people that are like, I have a good radio voice. Like I'm gonna
like,
do
all right,
this.
you know what has got me is Jadakiss, right? I was thinking about Jadakiss while he was I don't know what interview he was on, but he was talking. I'm like, man, Jadakiss really has like a deep, gritty voice. Like, so I got to thinking about
Call himself Mr. Raspy.
was he born and then like as his voice matured?
Did he cry with the raspy deep voice as well?
Did his voice sound like
as an infant?
Freeway? And then when when puberty hit, like he went all the way to like this, and then
So you're
there's a
saying
whole
that-
bunch of grittiness to his voice, and it sounds.
So you're
like
saying
it
that
hurts.
Freeway's voice is prepubescent Jadakiss' voice?
You got okay. So talk like Jadakiss. You have to you got to talk like you got to right. You got to do that, but you also have to. It sounds like you're like constantly scratching your throat. I don't know. There's something that seems uncomfortable about it. So my theory, I have two theories. Either this is what his voice came to be, which is sometimes I just find it hard to believe your voice became that. Like, how did it get to that point? Or he practiced his voice so much that that's what his voice actually became.
I'll say the interesting thing with Jadakiss is when he talks, it's the same as his rapping voice.
That's what I'm talking about,
But
right?
like, if you look like Jay-Z, for instance, his talking voice, it sounds like he doesn't know how to articulate himself, but his raps are just, you know
That's
what I mean?
not true. Jay-Z
Sometimes
can
just
articulate himself.
No, it's just sometimes like he has it's like a slower, like, you know, he's working out his thoughts as he's talking
I
to
think
you.
because Jay-Z is probably one of the most he's probably very thoughtful in his word choice.
I'm sure, but it's also like it's a completely different.
Double entendre. Don't even ask me how.
It's a different voice.
Or is it triple entendre?
It's triple.
Yeah, it's triple. Double's not that. Double's really not that like impressive. Anybody could do a double entendre.
Most of the time, it'll happen on accident. And mad people do them.
Smokey says it could be Smokey from Fridays.
That's not how that works. That's just a name.
It's a double meaning.
Well, it also has a different other kind of.
Keep
meaning.
it green. He says that too.
I don't know. I always thought
You know you're gonna look at that booty
I
before.
thought that this shirt was related to like weed in some sense.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it is, but I
You want
don't
to
know.
introduce us because I think we've kind of hit it.
We've been on.
We've snagged something.
We've been
We
talking
we've
for
caught a
3 minutes.
snag. You didn't like my double entendre.
You see,
It's true.
After 100+ episodes, and you still got.
You don't know what number we
Still
are.
be trying to tell me to.
You don't know the number of our episode.
Of course, I know what number.
What
we're
number
episode.
are we?
All right, episode 106.
Did you see it? Did you see how I led you straight to it?
Did a terrible job of it. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kiona and Kasson podcast. I am your host, Adam, here with my brother, Osama. This is episode number 106, as we had just covered. It is great to be here. I feel comfortable and fly today. So,
Comfortable and fly.
and fly. You could be both.
It's like you're going on a plane.
No, I don't know, man. I think you choose
Double entendre?
You choose one or the other on a plane. I think you choose one or the other on a plane. Most people don't look fly and comfortable.
No, man, because you can look fly depending on what kind of comfortable fly clothing you have.
Yeah, but I'm saying most people just don't. Like, I don't know.
I've
been on it.
Those people that like get fully dressed up to go on a plane, that shit is hilarious.
When Pops went to when they just went to Jordan, I saw him at whatever night before or whatever, and he's like talking about what he's gonna wear. I'm like,
what are you gonna wear?
You realize you're gonna be on flight for 13 hours. Like, be comfortable. He's like, oh, but we're gonna get off and the whole family's gonna see us. They know that you were just on a 13-hour flight.
Listen, I don't understand it's an old school mentality, right? Like, so Vivi was telling me like, so like for instance, I don't know if it's just specifically a Puerto Rican thing, but apparently when you land in Puerto Rico or back home, wherever you're going, you clap at the end, right? I don't know if that's just Puerto Rican.
I think they all have their own kind of custom like that. Like when we landed in Jordan, it was a long time since last time I went, but we were there's probably like 1,000 people waiting for us. Family is deep, and. But everybody had there's obviously a million cars with Kawashes in them driving down the road, and they're just honking and like out of their sunroof and like having a party on the road on the way to somebody's house where we're all going to meet up.
The rules are not the same there.
They're not the same. Well, let me finish introing.
Is he out of the sunroof with a rifle?
No, they didn't have the rifles though. But anyway, welcome everybody to the show. If you haven't done so yet, do the subscriptions and the follows.
Pause and subscribe right now, please. We'd appreciate that.
Don't go any further. I'll wait.
All right, we're done. We got shit to do.
Yeah. Man, listen, calm down. We always have things.
I'm also quite hungry.
We'll get to it. You already ate already this morning, fat ass.
I eat so many times a day. But yes, please pause, press like, subscribe. And that little alert button.
Yeah, the computer ain't going to do it for you.
All of that helps.
And I wanted to use that to bring me to my first topic today.
Dun. Do we have hold on.
What? No, that's the opposite of what
you have. Dun, dun, dun. Do you have something like that?
No.
That's not what I wanted. It doesn't. All right.
That's why I got to keep this thing away from me.
Well, we got to start marketing it. Like the surprise music, the laugh music.
I need to find a way to turn this to me.
We need longer wires. Why is it every wire that comes with any device is shorter than the distance between? It's like
they'll give you the minimum. That's why
most outlets are the distance from that. Like just going downward from a table. You get like 1.5 feet of a cord. I saw Pauly D with a cord while I was watching Jersey Shore the other day. That was like the length, like 3 times the length of this one. I was like, he must get that because he's rich.
he's like 3 blocks away with his phone charging.
He must get that as a rich person because they give us all the trash ass leftovers. Like
those shows are the perfect things for product placement though and advertisement. So.
They probably don't even give uniform cords. Like if I get one that's 3 feet, you might be like, oh man, we only got 1.75 feet left. Fuck it, just give it to him. It's okay, he'll use it.
And I expect better out of Apple.
And everybody just sits there like, yeah, okay, this is what it is.
When I got my phone, I spent an additional $30 to get a larger cord for the damn thing. I'm like, come on, man. They give you like the little, we already know. We just talked about that, but
it's ridiculous.
To my topic of the computer not doing it for you. Yesterday, I
was trying to beat off and it wouldn't do it for me.
First of all, I'm sure that they make things that'll do that for you nowadays anyway. But I watched the movie Eagle Eye, right? And I had seen it before a long time ago, forgot the entire premise, but now it makes things a little bit more realistic, right?
Right.
So for those who don't know the premise of the movie, essentially the government was trying to develop a smart computer system that basically just takes care of things, right? And Shia LaBeouf was one of the stars of the movie. And he had a twin brother who was working for the CIA. He didn't know that. And he
didn't know he had a twin brother?
He knew he had a twin brother.
But he didn't know he worked for the CIA.
He didn't know he worked for the CIA.
Well, I mean,
a lot of spoilers coming up of this
head?
movie.
I mean, it's possible that they were separated at birth and he wouldn't know. That's happened.
Well, that's fine, but that's not what
happened.
You
look like me.
That's not what happened in
I look like you.
movie.
Who the fuck are you, dude?
So, a lot of spoiler alerts if you haven't seen the movie.
Where he was like...
I don't know, and I don't care. So, a lot of spoiler alerts if you haven't seen the movie yet. Either, whatever.
If you haven't seen
Sarah,
it yet,
for instance,
it's not a big deal.
Sarah, for instance, likes to know what's going to happen at the end of the movie before she watches it. It's our sister. I don't know why she does.
So that sounds like, remember I told you Donald Faison was on the podcast talking about how he only watches the last episode. Breaking Bad, he's only watched the last episode.
I don't think that.
He's like, I know what it was all about.
That doesn't do anybody any justice.
It doesn't help anything. You didn't. He's like, I just like to see how it's gonna end, and then we go back. Go from there.
It's a terrible way to.
Your methods are all wrong, sir.
Yeah, I would agree. So anyway, basically, what happened is this computer system that the government developed started to take on a mind of its own, which I guess was kind of the idea, but they weren't like quite ready for it. So it has a function in there that basically was like, yo, we don't like the way the government is doing things. They're not for the benefit of the people. It was like, it's a pure machine, although
like
it doesn't. You got to remember that machines are emotionless.
It's like a failsafe, essentially. So like,
it's the done data. Like the whole question the whole time was, is this Jesus? Is that what's doing this? Because
that was your question?
Yes,
okay.
Because this is a computer system that controlled
like Jesus is diabolical.
Like everything, right? Like it would control people's cell phones, and it would make phone calls. It had a voice. It was calling Shia LaBeouf, trying to give him instructions.
I do remember that part of the movie because I've watched it. Like it's wild. They're driving and shit like that. Yeah.
So this machine is basically it was trying to carry out a function called Operation Guillotine, which is essentially taking the government
and cutting its head off,
and rebuilding it.
Who's the government? Who would be the one that like gets that wrath? Like, are they gonna get
everybody.
all the government?
Everybody. Literally, the plan
they
for
cut
this
their
computer,
all their heads off.
The plan for not to literally cut their heads off. To actually explode all of them. So the plan at the end of all of this.
Cell phones and shit?
No. So like you're literally trying to get everybody in the government. This was the whole thing for the computer, right? It got the whole setup of this.
I completely misunderstood. Explode all of them. Like
it wanted to kill them
individually. I thought you were talking about they just explode from wherever. Like for some reason,
although something like that did happen.
That's where my brain went directly there. Like almost in Kingsman.
Yeah.
Remember at the end of Kingsman, like how like they were trying to blow up everybody with the cell phone signal.
Yeah.
So that's what started happening. That's what I kind of not.
I don't know why they didn't just approach it that way.
Yeah, but I also don't know why my brain didn't think, oh, just put them all in the same building.
Yeah. Well, so that's literally the whole movie is setting it up so that you can get Shia LaBeouf into a building, like the Parliament building, right? And whoever
the wrong twin, which basically does nothing for the government.
But he was a patsy. The computer used him as a patsy.
So the
computer literally is like has a nucleus, a whole brain, and has took on a life of its own with its own agenda to carry out.
Yo, just a PSA. If we actually allow what we've seen in the movies happen,
that
we
can very well fucking happen.
We deserve all of that.
At this point in life, it really it struck a chord. That's my bottom line here. It struck a chord
because the nucleus would like us, right? Because like YouTube doesn't, but maybe they would favor us, and we'd get like
apparently this thing like will track everything about you that is online and build its idea about who you are as a person through all of those things. And if it doesn't like it, you're gonna kill you.
I think it would look at my Facebook and be like, this guy. He's a businessman, right? He's a businessman. He does what he has to do, and he's
not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
So back to this exploding governmental thing that I didn't realize. For some reason I'm like, well, they're gonna plant a device in them, and
he was the
a laser.
He was the Trojan horse in a way.
I thought about a laser that might hit. That all went through my head just now.
He was like the Trojan horse / scapegoat or whatever, right? So like basically they got him in this building where every member of the government from every branch of the government is in the building. And the co-star of the movie, I forget what her name was, she basically had... It was like the computer system set up a gift for her and put this necklace on her that was a crystal. And once they were both in this building, it was going to blow up the crystal and kill everybody in that building.
And her?
And her. She didn't... This is the problem. The computer is emotionless. It doesn't give a fuck who you are. It doesn't feel bad about it.
The computer didn't know that Shia LaBeouf had a twin?
The computer knew.
So it was
Shia LaBeouf...
His twin set that up.
His twin was like the operator of the whole thing.
So he was using his twin to kill the twin?
No. Basically, after his twin discovered what the agenda was of the computer system, he like overrode the system and blocked it. And because like his facial structure and like voice and everything is similar... the system needed Shia LaBeouf to reactivate it, and the computer system, killed Shia LaBeouf's brother for not.
You won't do this for me,
dude.
How the hell did it have arms?
No, but it controls literally everything that is connected to technology. So, like one of the guys, for instance, she killed him using an electric cable from in the middle of some field. It literally struck down and fucking obliterated him into pieces.
So this is
the most dangerous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so
and it scares me because I was just talking about this yesterday. If technology went down, we'd be fucked. We depend on it for everything.
Easily. Easily. I've already spoken about how I think that. So I remember.
Computer system's gonna take over one day, man.
I don't know. I don't remember if we've spoken about this. My theory on this specifically in the podcast, but I remember being in my freshman year of high school in 1999, right before Y2K.
Mad old.
Fuck you.
Damn.
I was just about, actually the topic of age is going to come up a little later because I'm just realizing as I get older how things affect me a little differently. So yeah, I was in my freshman. I was in
Freshman.
Anyway, I was in my freshman year of high school in 1999, and that was right before the Y2K thing. I remember specifically being in one class talking about it, and it was right before it happened, and nobody really knew what to expect. If you don't know, Y2K was like, they were worried that they didn't have the computers set up to register the year 2000.
And that was going to bring so much drama and terror
They
to the
thought it
world.
was going to reset because they didn't know that they didn't know if it would carry over to 2000. They thought it would just start back up at like 19.
It was supposed to be the day of reckoning for all
Yeah.
technology, which was nowhere near what it is today, and they still thought it was going to be like the end of the world for everybody.
Everybody was just literally, people had bomb shelters built, or like what are those?
Because all of our defense systems were
Yeah,
connected to
they
that
were
type of shit.
afraid that all missiles were just going to let loose and shit in the world and blow everybody up. I promise this is what it was. If you weren't around then, it's hilarious to think about, right?
Yeah. It's hilarious to think about somebody not being around for that, you know?
I mean, there are some people who were born in like the early 2000s.
Well,
yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually,
No
today.
shit. I'm just saying, thinking about the fact that, like, oh shit, we're 2021. Like, we're really removed from that at this point, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're 21 years away, man. That's crazy when you think about it. And
Yeah.
I was a freshman 21 years ago. Fuck.
And we made it. And then they thought 2012, the same type of shit was going to happen. I don't know why.
I mean, but I was thinking. So we were talking about technology, and I'm like, all right. And my theory on the way what Y2K really was, instead of like
It was just an introduction to Y2J for WWF. That was the only reason it existed. Fucking hate that guy, too.
and then it would
No,
nothing.
he did that.
Oh yeah, the same thing, same idea, just the same kind of like, and it was just like the countdown.
Break down the wall.
But
Hated him so much.
oh yeah, I didn't like him at all. Jericho. Anyway, the walls of Jericho. So I feel like that actually was like Y2K was like the end for sure, but the end of the way we knew life to be at that point, because
So it was the end of the world as we know it.
it was like the begin. It was like the spark
end
of
of the world as we know it.
Before then, we had like AOL Messenger and email and
CompuServe and
shit like that. After social medias came soon after, like message boards and things like that started to
Zynga,
really
whatever
take
that
off.
shit is,
Like
and
social media became a thing.
MySpace was right
So
behind it.
it was definitely the beginning of a new thing and the end of a different era. Like, so social media the internet since 2000 is definitely completely evolved from what we knew it to be. Like, I remember like,
Are they going to refer to this time period of life as the technological revolution? Like, you know, they had like the industrial revolution and like,
for the most part, I think so. I think in our lifetimes, we're bound to see some crazy shit happen with technology.
we've already seen a lot of crazy shit
No,
happen.
I know that. But it's funny because we're actually kind of like, much like the news with all of the terror and everything that's going on, unfortunately, you become desensitized. I think with technology, we've done the same. Because think about it, like you're just like, oh, look at that. Now
I think what happened
I'm
is we got
so
spoiled.
mad about wires. Like I hate wires on my headphones that are technically wireless. Or the Bluetooth.
We've become spoiled, and now we want we're looking for the next thing. Like, hurry up, motherfucker! What's taking you so long? You did this.
Now when I look at a car with like a
adapt.
screen, if it's not like 8 to 10, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I was just telling Sarah about this the other day too. I'm like,
You got
yo,
a CD player?
all the things that they would rap about as a flex, right? In like the 90s, whatever, like they got GPS, they got a panoramic roof. Like a lot of that shit's standard now. And I'm like, man, that's pretty funny how things change.
TVs in the
That shit used to
headrest.
be a luxury of only the rich, the elite.
It's really weird, man. Like the way things. Yeah, it's true how you just kind of become like, oh, this isn't enough. Like,
But I still feel as though that means we get their hand-me-downs.
who's hand me
The richest. The rich people.
You think they get them? They've had this shit for a while.
They had CD players,
Do you
GPS
remember-
systems.
do you remember- but CD
you know,
players used to be crazy expensive.
But they had all that shit like in the 90s, late 90s, whatever. And, now it's all that's just standard on cars.
Remember
But like,
man,
they had it all before we did.
Remember 6-disc changers inside the motherfucking dash? Like, you don't know about that.
You know, 6-disc changers when they had them in the trunk. What the fuck was that?
I've never had that. I had it while it was in the dash.
That was the stupidest thing of all time. Like, so I have to go stop my car, go to the
You
back.
had that in
switch-
your first Mazda, right?
No, I had a 6-disc changer in the dash.
The thing about that is you just be like, I don't know what's in there at this point. You're just changing through discs.
Yeah.
And when you get an older car, which is what it was,
Yeah.
that motherfucker was like, it would get jammed and you don't know.
like, I can't get the CD out in there.
I don't know what the fuck was left in
They
there.
had some that they were under the armrest. The loaders.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
cool because you pop it out, it comes out like that. But the trunk thing, you got to, like, I don't want.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm in the driver's seat. It's
These
the complete opposite end of the car.
These CDs suck now. I got to change them.
Funny how that whole thing changed too. Like, first you couldn't get, and if you did, you probably had to get like a higher class vehicle, but one that was already stationary in the car, right? Like, it didn't come with a CD player. You had to go and
You
swap one
couldn't
out,
watch.
get the Pioneer, whatever, you know.
You couldn't watch movies while the car was running or driving. You'd be like, well, when else would I want to watch them?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Like, there was a thing where you couldn't watch the movie, like your TV in the dash, if the car was driving. There was like,
Well, it was a stupid idea to have a TV in the dash in the first place.
well, what if it's a music video?
You should be driving.
I know, but maybe the passenger wants to watch.
Fuck a passenger.
Well, I mean, but listen, I got a TV in my dash for
When
a
I bought
reason.
my car,
I'm
I didn't
not
think
here-
about anybody else.
I didn't put a TV in my dash to just drive normally.
I mean, I have a screen in my dash now, but it doesn't play
What if
TV
there's
shows.
traffic? What am I supposed to do in traffic? Now I don't have a TV.
Is this a serious conversation? The only time that I've seen something like that would actually make sense, we went to World of Wheels, and you probably remember this. I think the guy had an Impala with a PlayStation 3 in the dashboard.
That's cool too, but if his TV don't work while he's driving, what's the point?
You're not supposed to be watching TV while you drive. Like, they don't want you to text and drive. What are you watching
Listen,
TV for?
Okay, I get it, but we're talking about a time.
Buzz
we're
driving is
talking-
drunk driving, all
We're
right?
talking about an era where the fucking Tesla has a video game that's attached to your steering wheel. Given you can't drive and play the game at the same time, it
That's
would
the
be
difference.
hilarious. It would be hilarious, but you can't.
But you can make a video game out of your car if you really want. I mean, you know.
Do you remember where there was TVs everywhere? I remember watching. Okay, so I was coming back from Max's crib one day, right? I was driving. Where did we live? I think it's when the parents still lived in. Because I was driving, I think, in the Explorer, and I remember driving past this fucking Altima, right? And this Altima, I remember I had to stay behind him because I wanted to count. He had a TV. He had TVs in the headrests of the driver and passenger seat, the headrests of the back seats, right? He had TVs.
Did Exhibit just get finished with his car?
I don't know. He had TVs in I believe the visors, but I can't remember. And then there was like small TVs, like in the back window.
He went to West Coast Customs.
And maybe the actual the side mirrors, but I can't remember. But I
He had
remember
TVs in the side mirrors.
the number. I
This
remember
motherfucker did not want to miss a second.
the number. The game's on. The number of I remember for some reason is either 11 or 13 TVs inside that car.
That's just ignorant.
That's mad ignorant.
Do
Do you remember how
got
much
more
would you,
TVs in here than where I live? That
How
don't make no sense.
do you
That's
get
the
TVs that are
sign
this small? They were like that small. You have to literally customize it.
Why do you need
also,
that in your car?
All the money he put into that Altima, right? Thousands and thousands.
And it's
of
an
dollars.
Altima, first of all.
That's what I'm getting at. You could have bought something way better than that, sir. Put one TV in there and everybody be impressed. Range Rovers.
Every
have
TV that he put in there, he could have increased that monthly payment and just got something way nicer and something that made more sense to have. You don't need TVs in your car, people. It's nice, I guess.
That was a whole era of things. They put a TV.
The back seat
they put-
headrests, great. Keep the kids busy. You know what I mean?
They
I
put
don't-
TVs in the bumper and Pimp My Ride. Pimp My Ride is something else, man.
Okay, that does sound cool. Like, if you're going to be parked up, you're going to, like,
No, it
whatever.
doesn't.
Like, for
If
instance,
you
right?
drive terribly, you fuck that TV up instantly. Big ass curve.
Let's say you go camping, right? And then you, like, park your car, you lift the TV out, and you guys can kind of, like, chill by the
that's
fire,
not
watch
what
TV.
I'm talking about.
That would be the only practical use for that.
You can put a projector on your car, right? You put a projector screen.
Some people just be doing shit just to do it.
I don't think people...
Why'd you do that?
You
'Cause I
don't
can do that.
thoroughly think about shit sometimes.
I mean, when you got money, I guess you got to figure out ways to spend it.
Yeah, I would enjoy
I want to get to that point.
a large sum of money to just be injected inside of my bank account. Like those people that accidentally get billions of dollars.
That happened in Eagle Eye.
Yo.
He was broke as hell. And then
That's
one day
why-
he went to
that's
go
how
and
it
check his
began?
ATM, and it was like $700,000, and he was like freaking out.
700,000.
And he tried to, I don't know what he was doing.
He tried
Go
to
watch
take
the
it all?
movie. No, well, he, you're limited with the ATM, but whatever he tried to take, he was like freaking out that it was all coming out. So he was like shoving his hand in, and there's bills flying all over the place. I'm like, relax yourself.
He tried to take a lot of it out, and it started to come.
Well, it's because he like put his hand in and like disturbed the flow. If he would have just let it build up there's lines behind him, people watching him with a bunch of money flying all over the place. I'm like, man,
Taking his
you're in New York City.
Listen, I'm figuring that if
Somebody gonna rob him.
somebody wants that money back, right? So I'm gonna go into the bank and I'm like, listen, what I want to do is I want to withdraw $350,000 right now. Sir, that's a lot of money. I get it. Just shut the fuck up, bitch. I want this $350,000.
If I went to the
all
bank,
in fives, and then
if I ever had that much money, I went to the bank to take it out, and then they tried to like reason with me why I shouldn't. Yeah, I'll slap the shit out of you. Fuck out of here.
like with the money, no, I want you to like literally. I would take that and I'll be out.
They get mad when you try to take that money out because they're like, oh, that's interest.
Well, there's 300. Yeah, that's cool, but I'm taking it, and then the rest of it, I promise you, I'm shedding all of them. I don't have a cell phone no more. You can try to find me, Eagle Eye, but I'm gonna be in the fucking I'm gonna be somewhere you can't find me. Like I don't know, the Eagle Eye can't be everywhere.
I came to a conclusion.
I mean, the
yesterday,
Eagle
right?
Eye is kind of everywhere.
Well, that's the idea, right?
I learned something about them. They got the eyelids that go like this, and then they got ones that every so often come back and forth. It's like a squeegee almost. It cleans off the dirt and whatever off their eyes so they can see better.
How come we don't have one of those mechanisms?
Because we don't, like I'm telling you, humans don't match the earth.
We don't belong here.
We don't match the earth.
We don't have any kind of actual. We have to like be resourceful, where other things just automatically have those.
Hands down, we're gonna get, dude. Anything we try to fight in the wild.
Hang on. Before we go to the animals, all right. I wanted to say I came to the conclusion yesterday. If I ever woke up and there was $700,000 in my bank account, not even match whatever my debt is on my Credit Karma app, right? If I had enough to clear all that, I would go $50,000 in a debt to buy my gold rope.
Your gold rope chain.
If that's the only debt that I had, I would go $50,000 in debt to go and get my big 24-inch, 24 karat gold rope. So, what you doing over there, Ben?
So what you're saying, hey, dude?
Just wandering around. Hey, go sit down. Go sit. But yeah, man,
what listen,
I'm willing to go.
So basically, what you're
more
saying is you get
today if I
you
could
come
find
up on $50K, and the only thing you plan on doing is spending it on a gold chain.
No. It just led me to the
I don't know
thought
that we should be in business together because I like Adam. Where'd you get that?
My main point here.
I would be so angry at you
if
you came to the shop and I'm like, damn, dude, we gotta try to come up on a little bit. Hey, Benny.
Ben.
What is he looking at?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
Anyway, listen.
I'm just saying my main point here. My main point here is only this: if I had no other debt,
don't come to the shop with a gold chain on.
If I had no other debt, let's just say somehow it all got wiped clean, I would go and drop $50K on my chain. That's my only point.
So
I would be willing to go more into debt today if they would approve me.
Let me put the situation together. Basically, you're telling me you're us today, right? Mm-hmm. You got whatever you got in debt, and you come up on $50,000.
No. That's not the point. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, you just said it.
I'm just saying if somehow my credit was cleared, right? Hey,
this is what I just said. There's nothing. I don't think you're building to anything else.
No. I'm not saying
that. Are you rich in this situation?
Just I woke up one day and my credit was
right.
Looking nice.
Basically what I just said.
No, you're saying if I came up on $50,000, would I go and spend it on a chain?
You just said if you had $50,000.
I'm saying I would go $50,000. No. I was saying I would go $50,000 more in debt for a chain.
So even worse. So even worse.
I want a chain.
So this is even worse than what I thought you were saying. I thought that you meant that if somebody gave you $50,000 accidentally, that you would pay off your debt and then buy a chain with the rest of that 50,000, which is already stupid.
Not with the rest of that 50,000.
I get it.
I need that 50.
So
the solid 50.
What you're saying is that you would just go ahead and spend the 50,000 you didn't have, and wasn't.
I could die tomorrow. I'm gonna have my chain.
Yeah, but man, that's a dumb idea.
Listen, man.
I love chains too, and I want one. But the thing is, you don't get it if you can. Listen, I also want a Rolex. I want a Mercedes, things like that. They're not coming yet. You don't get it.
Yeah, but the
until
chain
it's
I
time.
can take with me everywhere. You know, like I gotta park my car outside. Nobody else can see it after I go in.
I do got a couple weddings I would like to have a chain for. This coming with these.
You could probably
this
get
next-
one rented. You know what I mean?
I ain't renting no fucking chain. I'd rather not have a chain.
I mean, word.
What kind of whack shit?
I wouldn't want to give it back though. It's
Oh man, next time,
keeping
man,
this chain.
I can't wait to see that chain next outfit. Fuck, now you got to rent it every time. Like that shit cost me $1,000.
should let you put one on layaway.
They do have layaway plans for shit like that, but I don't think
For shit like that?
Yeah,
Like that type of shit?
like I know a
Like you can go put
there's
a-
a jeweler in the city who's pretty well known that has like they have like those they have basically a firm for their for some chains. You can
Interesting. They got a little credit union.
Yeah, but I'm not. It depends on what that interest rate is because I do want a nice chain, but I don't want to spend thousands of dollars.
Give me
right
like-
now.
give me
I
like-
also, for the record, don't have the ability or the money to spend thousands of dollars right now.
If they gave me like 48-month financing, 0% interest, got you.
That's a
I'll
little-
pay this in 4 years.
I don't know about that, man. I think it's just the worst idea you could. You'll forget.
I want a chain.
After a while, you're like, I don't even want a chain. I wanted it 4 years ago.
No. I highly disagree.
What if platinum comes in now?
As
Now
my-
you got a gold chain. So what you got to sell your chain
Because platinum, I'd have to pay $250,000 for the same thing.
platinum.
I'm cool with the gold.
Thicker than splatinum. Remember what was that from?
I don't remember.
I think it's some lock shit or whatever. I could be.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyway. Oh, so what I was gonna say is right. I'm starting to realize where my like as I get older, I'll be 36 next month, right?
Yeah, you is old.
And shut up, Dick. You'll be 32. It's not like you got much before behind me. And I am of the firm belief that you've already hit the years where you wake up with just random ailments, and it just is what
I
it is.
already told you, though. It doesn't matter because you will always be older than me.
No shit. But anyway, I'm starting to realize, like, for instance, caffeine in the coffee, right? It starts to give me the jitters.
Wait, is caffeine in the coffee different than caffeine in like other drinks?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
don't think that's true.
I think it's just a little.
I think the problem is if
the
you
coffee
open like
bean.
a Coke compared to like popping, whatever, drinking a cup of coffee, the Coke also has all the sugar and all the additives and shit. You don't have that in coffee.
Yeah, it's something about coffee. For instance,
I would think that coffee caffeine is better for you.
I like if I have 2 cups of coffee in a day, like I will have like the jitters. Like I'll be like, what the fuck? And this is a new thing, right? This is like a new development. So I'm like, this is weird. Like so, like I'll have caffeine and I'll feel like I'll just feel kind of like anxious,
Yeah.
in a sense. And I'm like, this is fucking destroying my ability to drink coffee. So now, like I've decided that starting tomorrow, I'm gonna like just get like half a cup in the morning. Like
Maybe you got to switch to decaf,
yeah, but that's
which I've always been opposed to. It's like,
whack.
yeah,
That's not something I want to do.
it's like diet drinks.
Dude, when I hear people
yeah.
drink diet anything, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? It's not.
Because it's always the fat people who drink diet. Listen, man,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
some
it is
people
what it is.
actually like. No, that's
you go,
true. But I
you
think,
go and get like this big sloppy ass meal that's full of grease. I do this shit myself, but not the diet. I keep it 100%. I'm gonna go just get a regular ass Coke because at
It's
this
delicious.
point, right? At
fucking
this point, was
delicious.
it? Yeah.
no. So like that's the thing. Like I think it's funny. Like little things like that. I sweat more as I get older. It's like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like I be sweating working, like, and I do work a physical job, so like it's not like I'm sweating like sitting there typing at a fucking keyboard. That would be an alert.
It's like here I be sweating because it's light.
That would be a life alert. Like I would have to go figure some shit out. Like I sweat while I'm like working outside, in 100-degree weather, doing shit like that.
Which makes
That's when I
sense.
sweat. However, now I sweat more. Like I'll be like, it feels like somebody's pouring water on the back of my head, and the sweat's just dripping. Right? And I'm just this is bullshit because I have to go change my shirt back at the plant.
Well, we
when I get
also
there.
have a very humid atmosphere here in the Midwest.
It's been very humid this summer, man.
Yep.
Also, speaking of that, summer's almost gone, and it feels like it was never here.
I mean, it still feels like
I mean,
it's here
it's been
'cause
hot,
it's
but I mean, like,
the other day I woke
what
up, man.
experiences do you remember from this summer?
Oh, I didn't do a fucking single activity summer related this year. Not a single one. I think I had like the parents threw a barbecue, whatever, and I think it wasn't like a barbecue. It was like, oh, come to the house for dinner. We'll barbecue here.
Yeah.
So, and that's like the only summer related thing. But the other day I woke up and it looked like fucking Silent Hill outside.
That day
I
when
came and got the computer.
all
I
that
looked out
thick
here.
ass fog.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't see down the block.
Yeah, it was real low visibility. I woke up, and usually when I wake up at like 5 a.m.,
Yeah,
it's like
just starting to get light, kind of.
you'll see fog in like the forest preserve driving through, driving towards the expressway, and it'll be out there in patches, but not on
Yeah.
the road. Man, that morning was 2-3 mornings ago. I was like literally, it was bad in the city, but as I got on the expressway, it's like a block
Yeah.
visibility, maybe like a city block.
Well, that's what
equivalent.
happens in the suburbs too. They get way worse when it gets foggy out here.
It was crazy though. Like the weather was really weird. Even yesterday, we had that nasty ass storm out of nowhere. Did it rain here?
It rained a little bit, yeah, but it wasn't like.
Oh,
crazy.
we had a crazy ass rain for like maybe almost an hour.
I think it was like a week or two ago that when we were having like that week of storms or whatever. I looked out the back and I was like, holy shit! All of a sudden, it went from sunny and bright to like the trees were damn near touching the ground and shit. I was like, what the fuck is happening? But it wasn't like that here yesterday.
You just reminded me. I saw a video like, and it made me laugh just to think about it. Like they were outside somewhere at night, and then out of nowhere, the sky went blue and light, and then out of nowhere, it went back dark. Like they said, they were like, oh shit, wrong setting. Like, like somebody was click. Oh shit, you went right instead of left. It was supposed to be like darker, not light out. Like he reset the day, like it was like a timer, like ding. Like
Oh, that reminds me. Actually, I was watching one of the Top Gear episodes that they basically were racing Hammond. He was taking the sled dogs to the North Pole.
oh, that was a
And they were
crazy
driving.
ass fucking episode.
And he was like, "Oh, it's about as dark as it's gonna get. It's 10:30 p.m. here."
yeah, dude, that was I can only imagine like being in Alaska
Yeah.
during that time. Like it must fuck up your whole sleep schedule. Like
Well,
things,
and that's what it is. It's 6 months of light like that. 6 months of dark.
like you got to wake up at 5:30
Trying to
a.m.
do
and
all
you don't
that.
know if it's 5:30 p.m., a.m. Motherfucking
Yeah.
that sucks.
I'm like, yo, let me tell you, I am not working because I'm not gonna sleep. And it's just
that
not-
must really fuck with your ability to like really have
Function
any-
as a human
Yeah,
being.
your senses and everything must be completely off.
Yeah, I mean, you need that cycle for sleep is there for a reason. So like, I don't know, and humans don't hibernate unless like Alaskan humans hibernate. I don't.
Yo, it's time to go to sleep.
Based on the atmosphere here, I sleep 6 months out of the year. So-
Humans hibernate. We call those like recluses and
No, that's not
introverts.
the same thing though. Like hibernation, you sleep for like an extended period of months.
I mean, you sleep, but you're not like always asleep.
No,
kinda,
you
like,
are, though.
tossing and turning, and you
Well,
wake up.
I mean,
and maybe you scratch yourself. You beat off before, so you can go back right to bed. Like
I'll be honest, I don't know how hibernation really works. Like, do bears shit in their sleep? Like, you
there's
have
a bear
6 months
shit in
of
the
just-
woods, and we saw that on Top Gear. He's like, I seen it. He's like, I see it.
that
a
show
bear
is-
does shit in the woods. I find myself as I watch that show talking more like I'm from London than I am from London. It's funny. Like I've been saying, that shit is proper fast. Like it's
They have some hilarious sayings, and I think we've been through it. But like one that I don't know if we mentioned, bum squeaky,
bum squeaky is
got to be
funny.
the most hilarious thing of all time.
I think the idea of replacing the word fuck with cock is
Yeah.
maybe one of the most hilarious ideas of all time. He's like, allow me to say cock. Because like it's like, man, you'd be like, fuck. He's like, cock. I don't know, but I think it might be funnier.
It
Now,
might be, but it's
the
just
only problem is you can't insert the word cock and everything like you say fuck. Like, man, this is some fucking bullshit. I'll fuck your ass up. And then think about cock. This is some cock and bullshit. I'll cock your ass up.
that's true.
That
It's a bit funnier
automatically
sounding.
gets kind of gay. Like,
It's real funny sounding. I ain't gonna lie.
I will cock your ass up. I'm like, ah. Like, why would you say such a thing?
You gotta compartmentalize, and you
You can't use that. It's not as universal a word as fuck.
gotta use discretion. you
But
know?
like, I've been calling like, it's just funny to me because I haven't really been watching anything else.
English slang is hilarious. But listen, I told you I had already I don't know what the word is, but basically Dave was trying to do. He used the British word like wanking about whatever.
You're
And I was
such a
like,
wanker.
I was like, we got to remember here, the British are the original colonizers. We got to be careful what we adopt from them.
True. It's true.
Making fun of it is hilarious.
Cock is pretty funny.
I can't see myself supporting it.
I think they say bullocks for like balls or shit, something like that. Bullocks.
And then bloody.
Bloody hell.
Blithering idiot.
You're such a
one.
blithering idiot, Hammond. Like, it's just funny to me.
Clarkson's a bit of a dick. I ain't gonna lie.
I think all of their like.
He's a bit of a cock.
It may be bad that we're actually laughing at their accent.
No, I don't think so.
But I think it's funny to me.
Listen, I'm pretty sure that there's existing tension between the Brits, or there used to be a tension, obviously, between the Brits and the Americans. I feel like it's just open. It's open season.
It's pretty funny though.
And when you go there, I've only been through the airport, and it was enough for me to know that they don't like us. Yeah.
Really? How do they treat you?
They're just like, and they might just be that they're smug in general. I don't know. I don't judge people on that, obviously, but like when you go there, they just like, you can tell, like if there's a person in front of you and he got the British accent, and they're like, let's say you're at a Starbucks, and I don't even know if Starbucks was in there, I don't remember, but there's like a different demeanor, you know what I mean, with them than like when I come up and it's our turn to interact, and they can just,
I get it. It is what it is,
They don't like you.
I don't like you, you blithering idiot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hammond. It's pretty funny to me. But they don't care about Top Gear. We just been talking about it like they would.
Well, I mean, it's been the source for some entertainment for us. So.
Oh, so you stopped me when I wanted to talk about like animals in the wild and how pretty much everyone.
Well, I did because you were interrupting my conversation.
Yeah, but
so
okay,
I'm not gonna just allow that.
Well, all right. Anyway, so. Oh, man, do I want to talk about that first? No, we'll talk about this one. So, and that's why I was saying humans don't match like the wild. Everyone will beat our ass. Even spiders, like little itty bitty spiders or small little things in the world can kill us. Mm-hmm. We just be walking around doing whatever.
Yeah.
And like we don't understand what. We don't belong here. I
forgot what I was watching, but they were saying something like, "Yeah, can you believe it? Every time a meteor strikes their planet, they have to start over." And they're talking about us.
I'm talking like they're the worst. Like in terms of humans, like how many times do you think humans have like restarted? Like damn, like we go from.
You think we've been here before, like thousands of years ago?
So I don't know, man. My theories on
we had all this technology.
My theories on all this shit is just weird and crazy. We'd have to start a whole nother.
Well, they say no idea is original. I'm thinking like, everything is a cycle.
So
maybe we had been to this point. Cameras that worked, fucking internet connections everywhere, and something took us out. And we had to build back up from scratch.
So I'm thinking like, the way I think about it is maybe what if there are alternate dimensions. There could be either one right now where we are in different aspects of like what we would like to be. We want to be.
There's one where we're in different seats, me and you.
You're Osama and I'm Adam. Like, no, like think about it. So, there's a potential that think about it. If you were to merge all of the different theories on what life could be afterwards, right? There's reincarnation.
There's a lot of theories to merge.
Reincarnation. There's just nothing. There's going to.
Well, I guess there's pretty much two.
Going to heaven. There's going to hell, right? Like, and just things like that. You get cremated, and now you're like in a whole nother aspect of things because like that's a whole complication we don't even understand we're doing. But all in all. What
does this
at the end of life, right, you die, and then you wake up, you again at the beginning.
So your last breath is right before your first breath again.
As you again. Maybe.
So as soon as you close your eyelids, like, and it's out, then you open your eyelids?
Yeah.
Man, fuck that. Like, that's I need a break. At least give me like a couple months. Let me get my...
You become refreshed. You're not knowledge. You don't have the knowledge that you were
I feel you, but like...
You don't know that you were you.
Hey, if the theory of a soul is real...
The soul is just tired?
Give me a break, bro. I just finished that. Life is exhausting.
Thinking about that.
After I die, I need like a 6-month vacation.
How early in your life did your soul feel tired, right? So maybe
instantly, somebody smacked me on the ass as soon as I was born.
Maybe there is no break. So maybe think about it. Maybe you are your soul. Okay, it can go different ways, right?
If there's no break, I'm gonna be pissed.
If it can get to it can either be that you wake up in 1989 again and spend 2 weeks in the 80s, right? And then you're back into the 90s again for you.
Would be 2089.
No. I'm thinking like maybe it'll be 1989 again. Like you just go back. Like your life repeats over and over, but the things that you do may not be the same. Maybe you follow different paths.
But how can that work when we know that we have people who were born before us?
I get it. I know that, but I'm
a
saying
progression.
like maybe though in this theory, right? Because we can get into this might be the whole episode after this. But in this theory, you decide you die, you wake up again as yourself as an infant, but you don't have the knowledge that you were you already. You just have the like that maybe that's what deja vu and all of these things kind of because deja vu is real.
And I think that, of course,
We know
I think
deja
that's-
vu is real, and that's weird.
But I think that's just trickery of our mind as well.
It could be
Because your mind be
my
fucking with you.
theory is I'm more. Vivi calls me more atheist or agnostic than anything. Right? My theory some days is that there's nothing after we go. But if that theory can be to me plausible, then I have to acknowledge the idea that I don't know. So any theory is plausible, and that's what I feel like everybody who has a belief should be understanding of. Like, yes, your belief is this, but you got to understand and be objective about the fact that, hey, yours may not be right and hers may not be right, but they both can be equally possible because none of us motherfucking people know.
Do you think that the first genie in a bottle came from somebody
I'm
who
a
was
genie
cremated?
in a bottle, baby.
Because like maybe it was somebody who was cremated, and they were like, "Oh man!" And all of a sudden, some shit just popped out.
So
Like,
are you saying that if I go
hell?
rub Stack's urn right now, he might come out and grant me some wishes?
That'd be kind of cool. I'll be like, "Listen, I ain't wishing.
I got 3 wishes. That last one, you stay.
I'll have 3 wishes on my deathbed.
Right. You
Till
gonna chill
then,
with me.
I'm gonna
till
be
then.
like, all right.
now we get to chill together forever. But you're just like a ghost.
It's like
could deal with that.
Kazam, like he had to grant 3 wishes, and he was
You didn't wanna.
no.
That was it. But okay, so listen. Back to this. So maybe you wake up, right? And in my case, I'm gonna use my own specific case. I wake up in '85, September 3rd. I forget. It's like
1985,
It's
you
like
arrived
eight-some-
again.
I think it's like 8 in the morning, right? I wake up, bam, look up, Pops faints again, right? Same shit happens. Pops faints, right? This time he brings roses from Mom as well as the nursing
But the
staff.
only way that this would work, your theory is terrible because the only way this would work is if everybody died at the same time and started again.
No,
because
no,
otherwise,
because I guess that's true, but at the same
Like-
time, there's all the in
like,
this
what about
theory,
the kids who pass before their
in
parents
this
do?
theory? In this theory, there are infinite reality or universes and realities. So
But
my
what about
reality,
the people
my
who
reality
have
when
passed before their kids,
when I
their
pass
parents?
and my reality is what it becomes. You let's say if you went 2 days later, right? Yours would start at your reality. We don't know that we were already living. Our soul just knows.
That's fine, but you can't be reborn to the same parents if those parents are still alive, and let's say you pass before
In
them.
an alternate
That would be-
dimension, it can be.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
If, I'm only saying that if that's bullshit,
my thought process here.
ta-da, everything else has to be.
Listen, I'm not like in disagreement with a lot of this. That it's bullshit. I'm in disagreement with your theory, but I
Okay,
don't
I'm
disagree that a
just-
lot is bullshit. What I would imagine happens is you die, you are given back to the earth, and in some form your energy exists. Maybe it's a fucking tree, maybe it's a blade of grass. I don't think.
You believe in reincarnate, or is this your theory, or is this what your theory? We're spitballing here.
Well, they say energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? That's the idea.
You can stop energy, inertia, right? So like, think about it. Like, look, an object in motion is going to stay in motion, or that's not inertia, right? That's something else. But an object in motion stay in motion until it hits something with an equal force, whatever.
Right.
So let's say a car that hits another something else, like a wall, an inanimate object that is not moving, the energy stops.
So am I wrong? Is it not energy that can be created and destroyed? There's something there, and I'm pretty sure it's energy.
Maybe doesn't
Science is very. There's a lot of science.
being all sciencey and shit.
But so basically, I'm saying like that means that once you die, your energy would have to go somewhere, right? I don't think that you are still a conscientious human form or a
Like,
ghost.
you're not a conscious being. So
Yeah, but like I
So
do
you're
think
saying
that
reincarnation.
energy is given back to the
So
earth. in some way.
reincarnation.
No.
Because reincarnation doesn't say that I don't
Or
think
you can come back as a.
you can come back as whatever as a rock. I think if you sucked. Like, damn. And you're cognizant, and you're very cognizant of the fact that you're alive as a rock.
I think about it.
This is what I came back as.
I think about it like
the rest of your life you get kicked around.
I think about it like as in Happy Gilmore when he was like, "No, I was testing the durability." He's like, "I was testing the durability of the rake, and then when it broke, I gently placed it back in the woods because it came from the woods and it should be with its family."
All right. Happy Gilmore's idioms. Is that idio?
Sure. Let's go with idioms because
idiosyncrasies. Is it
idiocracies?
what?
Idiocracy.
Anyway, so basically, you're saying that you could you die, but so is it like is there a break, or do you automatically come back as like a tree root?
Like for instance, right? Manure, like cow shit.
What
They
about-
say that is biodegradable. It goes back into the earth, and then it
'cause it's got,
revitalizes
like,
the soil
gases
and shit. So there's got to be something there with humans as well. I'm assuming.
Something about cow stuff, cow shit, cow ass, because we make leather out of it. Mm-hmm. Something about cows. Anyway, so
we get water and
so
fucking,
what would
or
you-
not water, milk and fucking steaks from them as well.
see, in your theory, though, yeah, that's true. In your theory, my problem is that you can come back as things that don't last long. So what? You just keep coming back as like so.
That
Are you
energy will still be
downgraded?
recycled.
Are
Like,
you do you go from human?
let's say you came
so,
back
like-
as a fucking tree, right?
Yeah.
As your leaves fall off, that shit happens, you still are biodegradable. That
but
energy is
tree-
still
So
there.
are you a leaf or are you the tree?
You're a tree.
Are
and
you a
the
branch on
leaves-
the tree?
I don't know.
I think you just
Maybe a tree is multiple people. Maybe every branch is another dead soul. You know?
That's fucking morbid. Trees are old too.
And
That's
there's mad
fucked
trees
up.
everywhere.
Well, I mean, we do plant people essentially in the ground when they die.
It's true.
It's weird.
I'd much rather be cremated, but we can have that
Yeah.
conversation.
We'll get back to it. We actually
Is it
got to
break
take our
time now?
break, and we'll
That's
come
what I
back
thought.
with this conversation because
Yeah.
it's pretty funny to me. All right. I was just looking at one of the group chats I'm in, right? And
Yeah.
my guy was like sitting here explaining to my son why The Matrix is the greatest movie ever made, right? Or
I mean, I would disagree with
somewhat
that, but-
arguing and
Right. Making his case for it.
right. So he's like, so they decided to make a movie night out of it.
And watch
it.
Matrix and
He's
Matrix
like, but
Reloaded and all
now
that.
I also have to explain to him what a DVD is, right? Because he has to get it out of his DVD collection. So it's just pretty funny to think about, like,
That is funny because there's a whole generation of people who only really know like the streaming era.
dude, it's crazy if you think about, like,
I think we should go back to our conversation because it's going to sound weird when we just kind of cut
Yeah.
straight to the different conversation.
I mean, yeah, we can also just let them know that we've decided to go back. So anyway, I think that because we did have to take the break, but
yeah.
I do believe that there's infinite possibilities. So the idea that, sometimes you feel like you should be doing something different, or like you had a different calling, or maybe there was a point where
Were we on Deja Vu?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and you get like
It's like a feeling.
it's a weird feeling, but deja vu isn't like, I'm not a real firm believer in a lot of all this other whatever shit. Like, I believe in karma, I believe in things like that, but
The laws of the universe, more or less.
deja vu is a thing. Like, you'll literally be like, oh shit, this was I've made this turn on this corner on this day at some point. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird feeling.
So instead of relating that to like a resurrection, like, oh, I came back as
Well,
me
I'm
after
saying-
I died thing, what I would equate that to probably your parallel universe structure, because I think as much as alternate universes are probably a thing, there are definitely similarities
So,
that occur, and you can,
running concurrently would be two different or infinite amount of parallels
Mm-hmm.
in my life. So at one, I might actually be in the NBA. Two, I might be.
there's a billion versions of your.
So you're saying like these are all things that do you believe that to be be a truth?
I think that they prove the existence of alternate universes somehow.
So I mean, we don't have to get too far into it, but
But
like,
I would believe it. Yeah.
are you somebody that will believe a little bit more about science than
of course.
anything? You like the evidence more than
Yeah,
anything?
definitely. Listen, that's my biggest problem with religion. I understand a lot of them are allegories, as they say, so that you can. It's the message behind it, not the story itself. That's fine, but like also, if those stories aren't real, what am I to believe and what am I to not believe? And I can't distinguish. And the things that are like literally impossible, I'm not going to believe those.
And that's what I was saying. That's why right before we started the conversation, I was saying, just because what I believe to be true is such a firm faith that I have, doesn't mean that I can't be objective enough to it's not like blasphemous or it's not crazy to actually understand that, hey, maybe even if, yes, I believe mine to be true and I don't want to waver in that. However, yes, there's a possibility, a fucking floating chance, it's not 99.9. Like, look, Michael Jordan retired the first time, 99.9%.
Yeah.
And then he fucking came back. Actually, I take that back. That was the second time. The second time, because I remember.
And then he came back.
Just a side note, Mr. Page, Coach Page, he was my basketball coach in 8th grade. I had him for, I want to say history, like U.S. history.
Yeah.
One day, the day that Michael Jordan retired, it was like in June, like the beginning of June. He wheeled in one of them big black televisions on that black cart, and we
old school days.
And we watched in this blurry definition Channel 5 footage.
They had a room to store those TVs in.
Yeah, many of them.
And if you didn't sign them out, then you were asked out, and your class couldn't like, I had times where the teacher was like, yeah, on Friday we're gonna watch this movie, whatever, and we couldn't watch it because
they only had
bitch didn't get the things in time, and we didn't have a TV.
You should have brought your ass in early, bitch.
Like, why didn't you tell them on Monday that we were gonna watch a movie on Friday?
That's it. That's all you gotta do. But anyway, he wheeled that shit in, and we watched it. But that being said, I just feel like you just have to be objective enough to be like, okay, just because you have this faith doesn't mean you can't kind of like.
Well, and that's what faith is, right? Like, nothing is guaranteed. This is what people believe.
It's blind. It's almost,
yes.
Faith
and
isn't.
hey, you can't prove this, that your side is true. You can't. And that's why, like, those type of people piss me off because, listen, I understand that you have your beliefs and your whatever, and that's how you were trained and taught from. Trained,
but doesn't it also say accept thy neighbor or some shit?
Yeah,
like
love
that?
thy neighbor or whatever. I don't know. All I know is you can't prove that your beliefs are true. So don't try to.
Yeah, poo-pooing on somebody else is poo-pooing is a funny fucking term.
Don't poo-poo on my beliefs.
But it's appropriate. It's apropos.
Hey, if you want to, if religion is your thing and you're gonna follow the entire book. Great.
Word, but don't blast. Don't like.
I'm not gonna tell you, hey, that's stupid. Why would you do that?
Don't blast the dookie on my event because we don't need that.
And the problem is, like, for me, by nature, I'm a very analytical person. Like, I look at things inside and out because I want to try to understand why. And religion was one of the things that you can't really do that with. So science is something to me like. They test their theories in and out. They come to the most reasonable conclusion they can.
I think the best type of folks are the one that can see both sides, accept both for some. Like, a lot of people don't care for religion, but are highly faithful in God, right? And
that's to me makes a lot more sense.
It does, but the path that you get there is fine, right? Again, coming from a very non-religious, non-spiritual person, but like the path you get there is fine. But if everybody arrives at the same idea. Right, the Grand Central,
and that never will happen.
If everybody gets to Union Station, right, from the same fucking metro track or from different metro tracks, but to the same fucking location, did we all not achieve the ultimate goal?
Let me just tell you
downtown?
that those are the word problems in math that I hated the most. So don't start with that.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, like analogous wise, is that what that's
analogous?
Anyway, but that you get what I'm saying. So like, we don't have to get into it, and we're not saying anybody. You know us well enough that we're not. Anybody can be right.
I'm just telling you that
everybody can be wrong.
Nobody will ever. It's never going to be where we're all going to reach the same conclusion.
It's like when I'm right, I'm right, but when I'm wrong. I could have been right, so I'm right. Like it was like, and we
that doesn't make sense, Terrence.
He was like, 50 was like, that makes sense. Like, no, the fuck it don't. Like, he just said something.
That was just like a scary movie when fucking Anthony Anderson is talking to Kevin Hart, and he's like, I can't wake up dead, and he's like. Yeah, you can, because I was alive before I went to sleep. And he's like, that's some quantum shit right there. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, no. But if you say something with enough confidence and sure enough yourself.
If you believe it, you can make anybody believe it. And that's religion in a nutshell. My problem with it is this, okay? You're talking about reaching the same conclusion at the end of it. Religion is so dividing that Christianity had to be broken up into 7 different religions because people didn't agree.
And that's the
Like-
thing. But again, like, and that just becomes with, and that comes from like people. I don't really care for those that pick and choose for religion, right? Like, I feel like you can't just
That's
say
the
that
thing.
makes sense, but
That's
don't.
hypocritical, you know?
You're following, but again, maybe that's kind of the person I'm talking about. I respect a little bit more, the ones who are a little bit more objective. Like, I don't like that, but I like this. I think the general,
But you can't have that
without
holier
going
than
too
thou
much-
attitude.
without
is the problem.
going any way into going into religion, because we're kind of deep. You're kind of like falling into that rabbit hole.
I mean, whatever.
I think we just say, you know,
long as it's a good
honestly,
conversation.
we all can agree that like no matter what, it's basically who you. It's not. You know what you believe, it's what you believe in, right? As a person, like the morals of like, you know, just kind of being nice to people.
It's not what you believe, it's who you are.
Nice,
you know?
respectful, fucking, you
That's
know,
the only thing that logic ever said that I agreed with.
loving shit
It's
like
like, just
that.
be a good person. Now that's the spirit.
That's all you got to be good. You know,
One line it wasn't even a bar; it was a half a bar. And it's the
mind
only
your
thing I agreed
business,
with.
just like a good neighbor should. You know.
100%. You know,
That's it. But again, listen, we were just kind of talking about how there's so many different possibilities. Like it's kind of mind
just
blowing.
acknowledge that, right? There's a lot of possibilities. Yes, believe what you believe. Believe it to the fucking death of you because stand for something and fall for anything type of thing, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't shit on other people.
It's like live and let live,
for their
man.
beliefs.
It's kind of
Right.
like what America was built off of. Yet motherfuckers don't really care about that. They just want
Because
to live
America
and
only
live,
had-
and that's why the internet sucks so much because
America
there's
is
message
live
boards
and let
full
live.
of fucking dick faces.
America is live and let
Can you
live
imagine
as
a
long
message
as
board
you
full of just
live
real
with the
dick
way I
faces?
live. If you agree, you know, like it's all
Yeah, like live, and if you want to live, you better agree with what I would like.
Otherwise, you go like 3,000 miles north of me.
This is my
and,
country, and if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. All right?
Pretty much. That's Texas in a nutshell.
Texas is in a nutshell.
Texas is like we're our own country.
Yo, I don't know about. Did you see? So, listen, anybody getting COVID is fucked up. But the governor of Texas got COVID.
Thank God.
Somebody
it's
who-
about fucking time.
Somebody
That
who,
guy has caused probably mad fucking death in his estate, and
Yeah.
it's time for him to get it and go to. And fucking guy in
he don't
Florida,
have to, he don't
can
have
get
to
it and go.
But I think it's important for.
I'm
people-
a firm belief that
I mean,
some people
here's
need to
here's
go.
the reason why. Oh, of course. But the thing is, he's in such a power position that if he gets it and it is an eye opener for him, he can somehow maybe influence others to understand it's a little bit more of a game, not a game.
He's not going to.
Well, you know who did,
the
and
most
surprisingly,
ignorant motherfucker.
Trump's English twin, the guy I forget his name, but I think he kind of woke up, like because I think he.
But
felt
why
like
did
he
it take
almost
y'all so long to wake up? Like you have science and figures telling you, hey,
died. Some people don't
this
got
how many
alarm clocks,
people.
man. I don't.
Like y'all dumb as hell.
Agreed. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if we think that, so cancel culture, right? Which is bullshit. But if people change, right? If like 10 years ago somebody put a tweet out and then now they're being chastised for it, but they obviously are not that same person.
Yeah.
We allow people to change. So if he somehow woke up and was like, whoa, that's not a game. Whoa, that's not a game. Bloody bloke. Like,
But you know how we work in America, man. We
Bloody
we don't allow for growth and evolution. Like we chastise people for shit that they did
you're
10
not
years
allowed-
ago.
You're not
That's-
allowed to grow.
But okay, so anybody who knows, been paying attention here, I've been watching Wild 'N Out a lot more, right?
We want it out now.
But they just came back after Nick Cannon was again canceled by the cancel
He was
vultures.
canceled and then
I'll call them cancel vultures.
And then he had to continue it like in a video game and shit.
It's not a cancel culture; it's a cancel vulture.
Some days I just be thinking it might be the one.
But it's so funny because like you can't cancel Nick Cannon. If anything has taught us anything, Nick Cannon is uncancelable. You can cancel him for like a short period of time, and he'll be like, "Yeah,
I'll be back."
Right, pretty much. So now one of the new games that they play is making fun of cancel culture, and they'll like cancel ridiculous things, you know, whatever, in like a
I
funny
think that's
way.
the only way you get rid of shit like that.
Yeah,
Like,
you got to make fun
you
of it.
gotta
That's
make-
why comedians are
listen,
important.
That's how we grew up, right? Oh, this person's gonna try to like make fun of you. You gotta make fun of them better, right?
Dude, listen,
that's
and that's
the
the thing,
only
it's-
way it goes.
And like, of course, it's different in different school systems. Chicago public school system, you had to have like a backbone
Dude, it
to
was
survive there.
the day was full of roasts.
And,
It was
your
just-
parents at that point would tell you, "Oh, if somebody's making fun of you, we'll make fun of them. If they hit you, hit them." Like, shit was very simple. It
Dude,
wasn't like
lunch
"Oh my
tables
God, you're insensitive."
where thick skin was developed. You know,
When you're
if you were the topic of the day, right? If for some reason they decided this was your day,
Like,
to
we gonna
be-
ride you all day
like
today.
that's it, that's it. Get them. Like you just be like, you just got to take it and figure out how to like deflect. Like
In the school system, you have to be realistic because if you want to like live life like they say on the internet, oh, you got to be very sensitive now and politically correct. That's not how school is. When you're in a person-to-person interaction, obviously it's been years since I've been in school, but I'm pretty positive it's still that way. And people,
It's different.
Kids don't give a fuck. Like they're not worried about your emotions. They're not worried about their own.
kids these days, I think it's a different type of day
It's real stupid
these days.
Listen, man, that made you. It developed character. Like going through that type of shit makes you stronger. Makes you
it built
funnier.
quick wit. It built the ability to think on the fly,
to take a fucking joke, and
right?
not,
To
like,
take a joke and not cry like a little bitch.
because everybody has something to make fun of, man. It's true.
Dude, do you remember? Okay, so we're gonna divulge. Have we ever talked about it? Have we ever talked about that?
I don't remember, but maybe.
All right, so we're gonna give them a little story. All right. So, in West Philadelphia. No, okay. So listen. Basically,
He'd never been there at all.
seventh grade, right?
Yeah.
I believe it was right when it began because usually the parents would go overseas.
This is one of the times that they instead of taking our stuff and sending it overseas, they brought us things back.
Yeah, actually, you know what? This is, I think, when Pops went.
Yeah.
Pops went because his father passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and he was there. It was like a shock trip, so he went by himself, and he was gone for a month.
Yeah.
Because as you do when you go, it only makes sense, and there's
And this is
customs.
mid-90s. Like, things are also much different than
Yeah,
than they
this
are
was
now,
1990.
traveling and
This was
shit.
98.
Yeah.
98. I specifically remember because before he left, I made sure for him to show me how to record on our VCR, talking about throwbacks, so I can record the series finale of
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, which till this day is somewhere unaccounted for, but it's around. I know it. It's
It does exist.
It's in a bin somewhere somehow, and I got it. But anyway, so he went and he was gone for the month. And when he came back, as you usually do, you come back with gifts. People buy you gifts and things.
Right.
So I got these track pants, right? Dope ass track pants, I thought. But they were like quality and everything like that.
Yeah.
They were Adidas, boy. They weren't the windbreaker. They were
The track pant.
Yeah, the
thing.
track pant joints with.
But they were like sweatpants.
Yeah,
right?
but they were like
Just had the stripe all the way down the side.
not the nylon. But like it was like a more of a. It wasn't like sweat material, but either way. So it had the 3 stripes down the side. I'm like, woo wee. Never had me no Adidas.
Now, was it yours or mine that was powder blue? Because
Yours. Mine were black. Yeah, yours were powder
yeah,
blue.
you fucking powder blue.
That's mad hilarious to me, man. In a way, at the end of the story, they'll understand why. But I wish that mine were powder blue because I'd have never wore them, bitches. And what would have happened? What happened never would have happened. So
I'd have been cool.
calm
outside
and
of that.
collected. Nobody even known I had these motherfuckers, these powder blue ass pants. But your lucky ass got them. And for some reason, in my head, I remember you wearing them shits.
Well, I was also if you're talking about 98.
Don't care. Still
I
funny.
was 5.
Still funny. Still funny.
I just dressed whatever they put me in.
Still
Fool. I
funny.
didn't pick my own
Until you
clothes.
started wearing all black. Then we called you Beatnik for a while.
Listen, man.
Or we call you Beats.
There's mad people who I know to this day who wear all black and they do it with pride. And
Of course.
I broke out of that. But
well, this was a different time, and Beatnik is hilarious. 'cause
I
it's
had no idea that-
It's so outdated.
When you guys-
Beatnik was like somebody who wore all
when you guys
black
started talking to Beatnik, I had no idea what a Beatnik was. And it wasn't like I could just get on my phone and Google like Beatnik. Oh, man, fuck y'all.
So, all right, listen. Anyway, we're getting off the topic. So, I wore them pants, right? I was like, yo.
And hey, to this day, if my name was my nickname today was Beats, I'd probably be cool with that. Nobody else knows what it is besides y'all.
True. So listen, we get to school, right? I rock them. I'm like, yo, these are my joints right here. I was like, these are cool because I've never had a pair, right? Like, you got to remember, this is 7th grade. I didn't get my first pair of Nikes really till about like 3 years just before, right? So like, I didn't have much of that like name brand shit. So I go into school, man, and I'm cool, right? They got this like red little patch, which I really like because it was like Adidas and then a patch on top that was like said Adidas. I'm like, yeah.
Well,
Anyway, so I'm like, this is dope, man. Like, I like these pants. I felt like I was fly. I was like, all right, cool. Remember being in school and something happened, man. Never forget it. So I'm just chilling there, and I'm like, I think I'm walking to the teacher's desk, and somebody says something about the word Adibas, not Adidas, Adibas, right? Adibas. Like Adidas is all day I dream about soccer, sports,
Sex.
sports, but it's supposed to be sex, right? So what the hell would
Well, it's not supposed to be technically.
so what the
but-
hell would be what the hell would Adibas be? All day I boast about sex.
All day I dream about sex.
Brim. Anyway, so that being said, I'm like, I don't even think nothing of it. I'm like, that's weird. I got Adidas pants on, but whatever. Sound like Adidas. And they point at my pants, man. And they point at my mother. Do they have a sad one? Is that? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I was like, I looked down.
You look down in shock.
I looked down like, right? And it's like one of those things where like, you know, like in TV shows, you just keep hitting buttons now. You know how like in those TV shows where like you look and it pans and it pans and it pans, like enhance, enhance, enhance. So like I look and that fucking red patch, damn it, the red patch over the Adidas like patch says ADIBAS. Adibas.
That's hilarious.
Adibas, right? Adibas. Adibas.
Listen, the funny thing about that is, okay, in Jordan, for instance, in Arabic, they don't have
Arabic?
in Arabic because they came from Jordan. So I'm just assuming, you know,
You mean
whoever
in the Middle East? Are you talking about the language?
talking about the language.
Okay.
Otherwise, that's what Arabic
Okay,
is.
I get it. It just sounded like you didn't know where.
So,
you were
like, for
going.
instance, right, if we're talking about like Pepsi, they don't have the letter P in their language, so it's Bepsi, right?
Pepsi.
So, but clearly they have the letter D in the language because it was
Yes, but they have the brands. They know what the brand is. This was obviously
no,
an
listen.
accidental purchase.
Let me just tell you, okay?
Or a setup.
They have.
I don't know
They
who
have
bought
the brands,
these.
but what they also have there, and it's important to note this. There's a lot of like, if you can imagine street vendors in the form of like a flea market
Right.
or a swap meet for those of you on the West Coast. I think they're the same thing. So basically, like they'll have. When I was there,
those are the same.
when I was there, DVDs were obviously still. It was 2006. They were big. Blu-ray hadn't come yet. They were whatever. Instead of having like, you know, you go to a Target, you pick up the latest release, $19.99. If you want to get the special edition, $29.99 type of thing. No, this was a dude who's on his front lawn or whatever. You don't really have a lawn because there's not so much grass out there. And he had
It's
a
the
blanket out
desert,
there,
yes.
and it's DVD cases with a bootleg cover on it. But if you buy it, it's not the movie. So what happened to you is they probably bought those from one of those
That guy,
street
huh?
vendors. You know?
Well, regardless, it wasn't the greatest situation for myself. Okay?
Trust me, I understand because
So-
in high school I had the same situation freshman year.
Well, hold on.
Early on.
We're not finished here. This is not the end of the story, sir. So,
So did you get made fun of it for like
Yes.
all day long?
yes, I was a Divas. I was.
That
a
was your
Divas.
nickname.
Dave.
Hey, Adibas.
Dave knows what a Divas is. There's a few people that do. So my fix.
See, luckily in fifth grade, or when I was like 5 years old, first grade maybe, kindergarten, nobody can read. They just thought it was a nice looking suit.
So my fix, right? Which I didn't get to the worst part about it, but well, not even the worst part, just another stupid part.
One of the more embarrassing parts.
So what I figure is, hey, it's just a patch, nothing underneath that says
see,
Adidas.
in all of your excitement for this suit,
I didn't read it
you didn't even read it.
because who would have thought? Nobody looks at Nike and thinks it's gonna say Nike.
I've looked at Jumpman logos and like, this looks kind of questionable.
Well, it didn't look questionable. There was 3 stripes. There's nothing you can get wrong about 3 fucking stripes running down your leg. So I look at it and I'm like, all right, well, what can I do here? I don't want to give these up. They're actually really nice material, and I've never had anything like these before, so I want them. So I was like, what can I do? So I got a little crafty, and this is how I learned to do a little bit of sewing in my day because I've had some fucked up shit happen. So
You made your own bootleg Adidas?
no, I literally I cut or unthreaded the whole and I took
The whole word?
and I took that whole shit off. I took the whole motherfucking thing off, right?
That's
So that was
hilarious.
cool, right?
Luckily, Disney taught us about sewing.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily that was gone, right? The way I figured it is nobody would have seen that the Adidas sign that's stitched up here said Adidas, right? So where this Nike sign is on my pants, there was an Adidas sign, right? And then back in the 90s, you wore shirts that were large.
Right.
So like nobody was gonna see that. And if they did, it's very hard to see the small B than the big D, as they say, and as she said. Anyway. But
You mean the big B?
Big B, right. But or the lack thereof the D, like she said. Anyway, so yeah, that was my story about being a Divas. And it's
See, what goes around comes around.
It's
is what I'll say
traumatizing.
about that.
It's traumatizing. It's
You guys wanted to make fun of the black gear that I rocked on a regular basis, and then now you
That-
got the
I see
Karmaic
no
justice
I see
smack
no-
you in the face. Like, pow!
I see no correlation.
Listen, man.
I think that it may be one of my least favorite things about. I've had other fucking clothing incidents too, and it's just. been the
I
worst.
have a similar story. I don't remember what the specific brand said, but I was in, you had like your homeroom ish thing in high school. I forgot what they refer to it as, but everybody, everybody had some like a similar. And sometimes they call it something different.
It's
like
called homeroom.
I went to 3 different high schools. They had different names for it, But anyway, so I was in there. It's not funny. I adapt well though. I'm a fucking chameleon about this shit.
3 high schools.
3 high schools.
You must have fucking. That was
No, we moved. It's sad.
Yeah, no,
It was
Adam,
actually
had,
really
Adam
sad.
had a tough situation or a tough go.
I got like the real most fucked up situation out of that whole thing. But anyway, so that the first high school I went to was still in the city. It was fresh off my 8th grade. Like a lot of the people who I went to grade school with, they were there. It was a great semester. I had a great time. But the first like week or 2, whatever, I had like like a thermal type of thing on, but it was like I don't know why the fuck I wore it. It was like a creamy color type of shit, and it had like the name of it on the back. And I'm pretty sure it was like a knockoff of like some Armani something. And the fucking douche sitting behind me happened to catch that. And so it was a very similar situation, except they didn't let that go on throughout the day. What had happened was,
I took that motherfucker off.
well, okay. So, full disclosure, my grade school had maybe like, it was a lot of Asians and maybe like a bunch of Hispanic people and like 3 black kids. It wasn't a lot, right? But I was really cool with them. And so when I went to high school with them, like they were the ones, they were on the team, the basketball team, football team, whatever. And like they were cool with me. So we fucking chilled every day. They introduced me to all the athletes throughout the high school. And obviously when you know like the varsity athletes, you're in pretty good shape, right? So one of the guys like who was up in the ranks of the popularity area, he was like, "Yo, your name is too white for me, and I can't." So they changed it from Adam to A-Dub, right?
Your name was A-Dub?
As soon as I got that nickname, I was straight. I never had a single issue. and the funny thing is they knew it because if I'm walking down the hallway and I see them like dapping them up, whatever, and that's it. I had like protection.
So you couldn't
just
be
from
made
knowing
fun
them
of your
throughout-
knockoff clothing like I was?
I was good to go.
See, you got
so that
lucky.
I was cool. And when
got
I left
lucky.
that school, I was upset because I was like, man, I had such a good situation. Like that 4 years would have been it probably would have been more like 6 years.
Probably never
because I wasn't very focused. But like it was out of the 8 semesters you deal with in school, that was my favorite, and it was because of like,
Damn, that's fucked up. You
Without-
had 7 more.
it's funny because like Dave went to that high school too, right? Like, he's 2 years ahead of me though, so he would be like, there's people who dap you up in the hallway that I'm like, yo, hi, like I'm Dave, and I'm like, man, sorry, if I could get you cool with them, like, I'll try.
I'll try to get you cool, but
But you remember, I just got brought into the fold, so
I want to bring you in, but I don't know if they'll let me stay in if I just bring somebody else in.
the culture of high school is so funny too because like
High school is a
who you
hilarious
sit with at
fucking
lunch is
social
like
experiment.
Who you sit with at lunch dictates pretty much a lot of your popularity in high school. Like I was moving between the jocks and like a couple of the fucking nerdy kids that like I went to grade school with that I was cool with, So it was like funny trying to find a balance there.
See, Lane had fucking off-campus lunch after sophomore year or after freshman year. So
Yeah.
like
There's no places to eat around town.
I remember I got fucking, they told me I couldn't go back outside to eat lunch.
You got grounded?
So yeah, essentially, like they put me on punishment for some fuck. So listen, it was
This is a very personal, just bullshitting episode, so I hope y'all don't mind that.
I mean, there ain't much to talk about. Ain't really no music.
There's like political things to talk about. I don't want to get into.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that either. So I remember it was sophomore year, and it was early in the year, right when we were able. So I'm hanging out with some guys I know, and we had went to Wendy's. Because Lane is right. Well, Lane has Wendy's over there. It used to have Taco Bell. It's Popeyes now. It changed a lot.
Yes, but there's at least like a bunch of eatery options around Lane, which I think that's the main reason it didn't really matter about Taft. There was nothing to eat.
Ain't shit you got to get on the expressway and.
Or at least drive down Milwaukee like an extra 20 minutes.
It's not
like,
worth it.
Yeah.
So, we're getting back to the lunch was like 45 minutes because a period is like 45, 46 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
So I remember we're walking back to one of the staircases. And for those who don't know Lane's like 4,000 students.
Probably the biggest high school.
Biggest high school in the city.
Yeah.
And so we're walking back, and one of my guys was like, hey, hold this. And it was a drink. I was like, cool. And he just walks away. I'm like, you motherfucker, right? So I remember taking a drink, and instead of like, now I should prefix this. Is prefix, right?
Preface. Like, what are you going to prefix this?
I should preface this. Preface.
Yes, preface. But
this with the, at least give you the understanding that that morning,
on this particular day,
we had an assembly about how we should not litter on our campus. Right? It's a big campus. We should.
They call the whole rally like, listen, guys, stop throwing garbage.
What they did was have like 3 periods in a row where the principal gave this. We're in the gym and he's telling.
Well, there's like 4,000 students at Lane. You can't have all of them at once.
So he's like, let's really take care of our campus. It's a beautiful one, and you know what? To his credit, he was right. We should.
Yeah.
So he gives me this drink. And instead of looking for
so this is a flashback after the preface.
Yeah, okay. Right. So back to the story. He gives me this drink, and I'm like, well, fuck you.
Thanks for leaving.
So I'm like, all right. Instead of going to look for a garbage to just toss it in, or I didn't go that far. I literally looked. There was a bench. I just put it on the bench. Now, mind you, I think there might have been a garbage right next to it. I think.
The worst kind of person, man.
I think there might have been a garbage right next to it, right? I'm like fucking 15.
You're the type of person who your dirty clothes are next to the hamper.
No. I'm like 14 or 15 years old. Like, listen, I don't know. I'm not thinking. I'm like, pop, put it there.
What's the most convenient and quick way to get this out of my hands?
That's exactly what I was thinking. How do I get this the fuck out of here? So, bell rings, doors open, walking in. Right before I walk in, I hear, yo!
And came back for his drink?
No, right? I'm looking, and there's like a security guard over there looking. He's like, you! And I look back, and there's another one, and he's coming. I was like, you! I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's cops.
It's cops. So all I'm thinking, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can.
Like, I'm on house arrest. I ain't supposed to be.
Maybe I can run into the school, right? Cool. Maybe I could do that. And I'm thinking about it. And as I look, there's security there. And you got to get through metal detectors to get in. And I'm like, it just doesn't seem like it's going to.
After assessing the situation.
This doesn't look like a situation I'm going to come out on top in. Also, I'm running into the school. It's like that white chick in the movies that runs upstairs instead out the door when she has the ability to. So I'm like, you know what? I think they got me. I don't know what they want, but they got me. And at this point, I'm not thinking about the fucking cup that I just put down on this thing. Right?
This is the most minuscule act of
it
civil
was
incivility.
The smallest thing I would have never thought. I was like, I don't know what I did, but I must be in trouble.
Like, damn, was I jaywalking?
Like, I was like, I could run into the school, right? I could, and maybe I get away. But when I'm in class, they know who I am, man. I know it's 4,000 students, but they know I'm like the only Osama. This is for sure and always going to be the case in most places I'm at. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I stop. Everybody goes inside, like 3-4 security guards. And then, lo and behold, motherfucking principal walks out the fucking building. Didn't we just talk about this? That's what he told me. Didn't we just have an assembly about
Like,
this?
yo, I just talked for 3 hours straight about this.
And I think they actually have the cup, right? And that's the funny thing because they have the evidence because I didn't throw it away.
Like, listen, that ain't mine.
It's like driving to the river with the murder weapon, right? And instead of throwing it into the water, you just leave it on the curb at that point right there and just drive it away.
So, yeah.
This is good enough, right? It'll get in there. Somebody will put it inside. So didn't we just talk about this? There's like mad security guards, and they all like you don't know them like yet because I'm just sophomore, right?
Familiar with them,
So
'cause you
like
walk
you
around
know
and see
that,
them and
but
shit.
like they start to learning your name, and they all knew my name at this point after this because obviously I'm the dipshit that littered on the day.
But
the
also, like,
principal,
Osama is a pretty memorable name,
but
especially
I've-
at this point in time.
I've done questionable dumb
Because if you were a
things.
sophomore, well, so this was probably before 2001, I'm guessing.
This is like 2000. No, this is like, you know what? This is like the end of this is the fall 2001, 2000 actually. Like
I was going to say, so this was before the whole.
yeah. So I'm the only dickhead that was out there being scolded because he decided to litter.
I'd have been like, yo,
I
that's
littered-
not technically on the campus.
Only I would decide to try to litter, or not even try, just kind of like accidentally litter on the day the principal told me not to. Listen, anyway.
I'd have been like, yo, what happened was my guy gave me a drink. I just put it there so he can come back for it.
It wasn't even me.
Wasn't mine. It was mine.
So that's how a career in snitching becomes a thing, right? So I didn't do that. I ended up. So I'm like, I remember they took me to the office. There's a whole bunch of like this became a thing. Why'd you do it? Like, what do you mean? Why was the
office the scariest thing at that point?
I'm being
Go to the office.
I'm being talked to like I might have like I don't know threw a kid down a flight of stairs or like. You know, hit the teacher. They're like, "Why would you do it?" I'm like, "Why would I?" It was a cup.
You were like Kenny baked. Where they were like,
I gave him some popcorn and some Funyuns.
no, what was the one judge? He was like, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I'm a teacher. No, I swear to God, it was hilarious.
Shut up! You're a cop killer.
Listen, I swear to God, it was like, what kind of universe is this? And I have many. You know what? This might turn into like a personal story sharing podcast because I got many stories, and so do you. So, like, basically, so after like an hour or so of being
What evil is
being like yelled at for leaving a cup on a bench. It's not like I took the cup, opened it up, poured it everywhere.
But here's my question:
and just
was the
threw it
bench
and then stepped on it and then fucking tossed it?
Was the bench on the restaurant side or was it on the school side?
School side.
Oh, so
right, like, and I mean, and not even.
I'm like, technically, it's not the campus.
no, if that was the case, there would be no problem. Problem is this bench that I put it on near probably 2 feet from the garbage can right next to it is probably 30 feet from the door.
So you could have technically made it if you ran to the school, but they would have got you eventually.
Where I was in relation to the school was one step from walking into the door, right? I was on the steps, people behind me, and like all I heard, I heard, yo! And when I
like, I'm picturing you like at the corner, because like I know how lane's set up.
okay,
so
maybe I should give that up,
Yeah.
right? I'm at one of the doorways, right? We're at the doorway waiting at where all the students are before, so they can get back in the school during the period, right? Because you're out. And we're sitting there, we're waiting, and he gives me so that's when I'm walking up the stairs. There's like 6 stairs, and I'm walking into the door, and I said, look, he's pointing at me, and that's when that whole situation played out where I felt like fucking Jason Bourne, like
everything slowed down.
yeah, I was like, I don't think I can win. So I didn't, right? I didn't win. So at the end of the day, long story longer, I don't know. I ended up getting 30 days suspension from being outside. Right?
you can't go off campus till you learn your lesson.
And I had to push a garbage can through the aisles.
That's the worst. you had garbage duty on lunch
every day for 30 days.
I forgot about garbage duty. That's the worst fucking thing of all time.
I would literally have to eat. And then there was what was the security guard? I think it was Darnell. Me and him, we had a cool relationship. We'd actually dap up after that, just because like we became so cool. Because I would I'd look up, he'd be like, "Yo, it's time." He'd have the garbage can, and I'd literally have to push it through all the aisles. Right?
Yo, garbage duty is something I completely forgot about. But that's the worst shit of all time. You have to walk through and pick up everybody's
story
garbage
is slowly unfolding in my head, and I forgot about a lot of this. So I had to push it through the aisles, right? And that was one of the worst things because one of the days, remember that I had an Echo hoodie, right? That I admittedly probably wore a lot more than I should have in high school, but it was like one of those things where I like, again, we only
gray
got
one,
how many outfits did we get? It was like it just fit the way I needed to wear. Anyway, so I remember.
Plus, you find that favorite hoodie. I mean,
one day I'm pushing the cart to a table, and this bitch, I call her a bitch, even if
she was being a bitch.
even if I knew her name, that bitch threw some Kool-Aid, right, and it hit the garbage can and exploded all over my hoodie, and I looked, and I just felt like, all right, this is about as low as it gets, right? Like I'm about
to flip this garbage can on your head.
At the beginning of fucking the year, having the freedom to go eat wherever I want outside, to being trapped in the fucking cafeteria for 30 days, pushing a garbage can around for 30 days.
Custodian dick.
And then it's a custodian dick. And dude, I mean,
a janitor if you want to be a dick about it.
Maybe one of the least favorite fucking stories in high school. And I've got a few, but that was one, like, I was like, I can't believe this. It was so, every day I'd have to eat my lunch and then spend 10 minutes pushing a fucking cart around.
Yeah. Yeah, lunch duty or garbage duty sucks.
Obviously, what I did was hilarious to all these people who had to punish me. I'm sure even they were just like, this is probably the funniest thing ever.
In my experience, out of 3 high schools, only the city schools have lunch duty or garbage duty like that. Because
in the
they
suburbs,
expect
they don't do
you, in the schools that I went to that succeeded that, they expect you to be, fucking some kind of mature and throw your garbage away, in an actual thing yourself. So I was like, that's cool because like even when you're like cool with all the popular kids and the jocks as a freshman, you still don't want to be the one pushing around a garbage can. Like, you're trying to like get girls to notice you. They don't want to see you throwing away garbage. Like,
listen, who the fuck are you? I did it for 30 days. It was like I got paid. Yeah. I did it for it was a thing where I did it so often.
You became a full-fledged garbage man
I became a full-fledged garbage man, yes. I was preparing for a career in garbage pickup.
You were going to be a sanitation engineer.
Sanitation. They were trying to tell me something. Tell you, that was fucked up. But again, I guess today was a personal story sharing as.
Hey man, listen.
It was a good.
Sometimes you need those to
I
just kind of give the people a little bit more about you.
I mean, all we were going to really talk about was the fact that Tim Tebow got cut from being it was some sort of fucking player.
Yeah, and that
I forget what he tried to be this time.
I don't know either, but and then also the Bears' former QB that they traded for whatever,
stomped a mud hole in their ass.
Just gave it to him yesterday. Obviously, it's still preseason, so like whatever. Makes it funnier though that Tebow got cut during preseason.
It's even funnier, yeah. Listen, I don't want to hate on anybody that chases their dreams, but dude, you had yours already, and you kept dude. At what point do you have to be like, all right, I don't have any more tries at dreams? He was a football player. He was a baseball player. He tried to come back as a football player. All right, that's enough, dude.
3 strikes and you're out, bro.
I think now just go on a Joel Osteen route, right? That's all you got to do.
That's true because he's a religious guy.
Super loves God, and that's cool.
I don't know if he's still a virgin, but he was when he first came on the scene.
Like AC Green.
Yeah, he was not. And maybe that's where you fucked up. It's like when Eminem stopped using drugs and his music became shit. Like maybe you should probably have fucked.
Drugs can enhance a lot of things, right? Like I don't know how that was helping his health correctly, or
no, that's why he probably stopped.
Yes, but like again, drugs and baseball, right? Like I would just think that they should allow steroids.
It just allows for a more entertaining experience
baseball
for the user.
Baseball is pretty funny, man. It's if you really the guy that John Boy, he breaks it down. He makes it really funny. You got to watch it because you're just like. Well, now that he says it like that, it's kind of great.
Yeah, I mean, and like,
did you see the fucking video of the dad that caught a ball of home run ball? So he had his kid here, and he had a beer in this hand, right? And is it like a little infant, and the ball's coming. So what he does is, what do you think he let go of?
Well, I mean, I would hope that he didn't let go of the child.
So he lets go of the child, right? He lets go of his baby. And
where the fuck does he?
So he does this, right? So he's got the beer, he's got his kid, and the ball's coming. So he does this, snags it one hand, and has enough time to grab the baby again. So he goes like this.
So he's like,
and spills maybe 3 drops of beer.
Wow!
Caught the ball, home run ball, keeps his baby alive, and is have enough beer to drink afterwards. So the people.
But I'm sure his wife gave him the business after she saw that shit.
Man,
like you almost dropped a baby, fool.
But, bitch, I didn't. I didn't though, did I? But did I?
But
it's just like that same stupid thing I hate.
You
when
already
people say
know
when they drive. But did you die? I will kill you, and you will die if you drive like this ever again. Like that's the way I feel.
Sam's a sensitive driver when he's the passenger.
Oh, I don't like being a passenger in cars. I just don't.
We already went through this, and that's why him and my pops are not allowed in the car with me driving anymore.
But I think you can actually understand. Like, obviously, it's not. It's annoying, but like, if you're somebody who drives like you're the only one that drives your car for work, and you like. So I thought about it. I've driven in the last. So I got my car in 2016. And I think I got my work truck maybe right around that time, maybe just after it.
Okay.
So I've driven almost 100,000 miles in that time. And it's like, so I drive most of the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard not to be in a situation where you're just like,
hard to let go of let the control go.
Like, let me drive. You sit in the back. I'll do this.
The only driving that we will be doing together is actually coming up after the pod. We're going to go to a driving range.
Are we going to drive
hit golf
together?
Balls? No, well, I mean, we're going to be there.
In tandem?
Like, we're going to be at the driving range together.
Double entendre.
You know what I mean?
Don't
Double
even ask you how.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how.
I saw it, so I wouldn't ask.
Right, I mean, that would be kind of pointless.
Anyway.
But yeah, so that's about as driving together we're going to be doing.
Although we are driven together.
Yeah, word. And we clean people's cars that they drive together.
It's like a quadruple entendre.
I mean, shit, you know what I'm saying?
We did use different derivatives. Driven, drive, drove.
And I think for the most part, entendres don't need to be explained. That's why I hope so.
Unless you don't know what that word means.
Well, Google it. I mean, now, back in the day, I couldn't Google beatnik. You can now Google what an entendre is.
You say, just pronounce that one more time. Beat Nick, not beat Dick.
Well, I mean...
You said it. It could have sounded like it.
Unless it's your own.
Yeah, but it's prefer that somebody else
Are you a master of your own domain? Well, yes, absolutely.
Are you still a master of your domain? The master and what do you say? I forget what he says, but either way. And then Kramer comes in. I'm out. And speaking of that, we should probably be.
Well, we can't. Yeah, we have to talk about sneakers and whatnot, because that's part of
that's right.
our duty.
You got to be excited to talk about sneakers.
Well, I mean.
What you got on, man? Those. What you got on?
So I threw on these pine green ones today. They've been in the collection for a minute now. They haven't been worn yet.
I was so the fear I have now is that he's opened the Pandora's box and that those core
and Pandora doesn't go back in the box.
Those can't. Yeah,
just comes out.
She's a stubborn little bitch. So like I'm just saying. The fear is that he has court purples and those might be worn next. So I might just like run away with them today and just make sure that he don't wear them.
I'm going to see you after we finish here in a different location. You can't run away.
Like Sam was supposed to come.
But yeah, so, they're a nice shoe. They do, what do you call it? The tumbled leather look.
Tumbled leather. But they're like soft leather.
They got like reptile skin. I don't know. That's kind of what it looks like.
A little rough.
They're, you know how, I mean, at this point, everybody should know how ones feel on your feet. They're not much different from pair to pair.
But they're just a very universal shoe. You can rock it with a lot,
Yeah. I mean, you see Hove sitting courtside with some ones on. That's how it tells you what they do. Like they're classy looking shoes.
Yeah, they sit on your feet wherever you're at.
They're not too crazy. Like they're not super bulky. They're just a nice shoe that pretty much will go with most what you got.
True do.
True do.
True do.
Like Trudeau, is that how you pronounce it?
Justin Trudeau.
But yeah, so I just want to throw these on. I kind of I decided
that's my French laugh. Oui, oui. They say oui, oui a lot. The best part about English fucking language is when they say pee, they say we. I'm going, oh, we.
So anyway, now my new approach to choosing my outfit for the pod. I choose the shoe first. That's the new approach I'm taking.
Oh, well, just
so that's how I ended up with
anything
basketball shorts on.
Coming up. Give me a chance.
I mean, I got a few purple
At least
things.
Barter with me somehow here. You're not even, Adam hasn't even given me a fucking, like, well, maybe this.
I'm in the thought process.
I just be sitting there just, like, crying, like, he didn't say yes or no. What the fuck do I do?
If I thought that you were, like, on your last
it's
pair
like,
of kicks
imagine
and you need
asking
something.
a girl out, right? Like, you fucking, in high school specifically. Not talking about my own now. Anyway, but, like, imagine trying to ask a girl out in high school. You give her a nope. You just don't ever hear back from her.
Like we go here for the next 3 years,
but
and
you
ignore
see
each other.
her, right? You didn't get a note back. You didn't get a hi. You just never get anything ever again. You're just like, well, I don't know what she wants now. So you're just like, you're that guy for 3 years. I don't know, maybe.
It's like interesting, because like the older I get, the more appealing I become to the
I thought
opposite
you were about
sex.
to be on the Matthew
And
McConaughey thing.
and I don't know if it's like because they're just more desperate to finally lock something in, or if it's just like I just actually got that much
I'd
better
say
looking.
they're a little bit desperate if they're looking for you.
Some would argue that we share a lot of similarities in our appearance, other than
Listen,
skin tone. So
I've been with.
if you're saying
I
that,
don't need to look attractive to anybody. I've been in a relationship for 10 years.
and if she doesn't find me attractive, well, it's too bad.
No, she's firmly aware of my game time, my game readiness, in terms of my idea of like, listen, you ain't gonna dump me and catch me out here with this dad fat bod shit. I'm gonna be out here like I'm mid-season mode. All right, fucking gonna be out the next day at the beach like waka. Look at the 6-pack.
Ain't no 6-pack.
It's about a 6-pack right now. I'll tell you what.
Whatever you say.
Listen,
anyway, if you want to talk about your sneakers,
any other reason than the fact that I lost many pounds the other week, I have I'm good right now.
for all intents and purposes,
I shit all the things that were in my body out.
blasted a dookie on it.
I blasted many dookies.
Poo-pooed right on it. Want to talk about your shoes? I know you've done it before.
I don't remember.
But, you know.
Yeah, I've worn these before, but I don't remember. Laser blue, maybe? I don't know.
Something like
It's
that.
like a light blue, but these are the obviously the OG Air Max 1s, or not Air Max 1s, Air Max
3s.
Air Max 3s,
or the
90s.
90, yeah.
Yeah, once you get into that whole thing, it starts to get confusing. But yes,
I don't know why they put a number on it. That's not the 90. Like, what other Air Max do they put a number on like that?
these are typical. Yeah, what? It's
Like
really
the
annoying.
97s, they don't call them like
I like to call them the 90s, but I guess because of their OG thing, you can call them you can
Threes.
call them 3s. But either way, comfortable as fuck, and they match the shirt I'm wearing, so that was good.
That does work. Although they are different shades, same way as my green shirt.
They don't know that so specifically that
we have an HD camera. Fool, they can see that it doesn't match. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much what we got for y'all today. There wasn't a whole lot of like current events to discuss.
Yeah.
There is, but
if you
I don't
watch
want
this to get up to date. We failed you.
Like, we could talk about Kabul and Afghanistan. I don't want to talk about that. You
No,
know,
I don't wanna
watch
talk
the news.
about
I don't even watch the news. I'm not even as up to date as I should be. We could talk about COVID surging, but that's just another thing that we've discussed for a year. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll leave it lighthearted in the way we did today. So please, if you didn't listen to us in the beginning, pause now and hit subscribe. You know what I mean? Like, do that.
We'd appreciate that. Follow us on the socials.
Yeah. Of course, you know, we haven't really been plugging Patreon too much because we've been trying to make a conscientious effort to not interrupt the show with Patreon. But
You should actually know.
go
that
follow the
there is
Patreon.
one.
right. There is a Patreon, and you should go and subscribe to it.
We probably should have said it at the beginning.
The vibes are there. You know, we have like 10 after parties up. We got a couple of horse games, and we're working on the watch along.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I think
We got some ideas brewing.
maybe
you
we'll
know.
break those into parts, like 1 part, 2 part type thing, because maybe because what I think is what's going to happen is unless we just recite with them, we're going to pause and laugh a little bit. So I don't know what we're going to do there, but we're trying to get it together, and we'll get that together for you guys soon.
Yeah, for sure. And there was something else I was gonna say.
Don't know.
I always be forget. Oh, we're also talking about another idea of like a talent showcase, another Patreon exclusive. However, we would like to also incorporate some of your talents if you do feel so inclined. So
Yes.
we'll get to that a little later on. Maybe we'll discuss it on the after party. You know, so you might have to actually, in order to hear what we're talking about, be there.
Yeah.
But other than that, it has been episode number 106. So
Yep.
for my brother, my dog
From the same mother
from the same mother,
and father.
yeah, both.
Yes.
My dog down here and myself, we do appreciate y'all, and we will catch you on 107.
Peace.
Look at us getting deep into the hundreds.